How you guys doing? We are back with Michael again, and we're gonna recap the beginning of training camp and some other and a lot of other topics today. But before we get into that, I want to ask the viewers and you, Michael, how did you like that intro? I made that the last couple of days. I want to get your opinion on it.
I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's gonna really help me out with getting people into getting into stuff like this, and that'll also play at the end when I stop recording. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let us know down in the comments. But let's start with this. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is actually so Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and Grady Jarrett had their opening press conferences. I mean, we're recording this Thursday night. Uh, we wanted to wait a couple days so they could have some practices, and they talked on Tuesday. So Ryan Poles didn't talk very long. He talked for like 3.5 minutes, talking about his extension. Didn't even go into detail on it. Like didn't uh, disclose how much the contract is worth. But honestly, GMs never really do that. They just want to be aligned with the head coach, and that's what uh, the McCaskies and the Bears organization did with his 3-year extension. Um, and he talked about how he was very excited about it, and he is excited about turning this around. And then Ben Johnson, he talked about some things with injuries. He he talked about just pulling it up. Uh, uh, how the players showed up in great shape, and had some goals for Caleb Williams, and some of the goals that he wanted was a 70% completion percentage. And honestly, I actually don't think that that's too much to ask, because I did look up what the completion percentage was for uh, Jared Goff, and it was 72.4. So, it's going to be there's going to be a learning curve for Caleb Williams, but it's going to be good. He also talked about uh, how all the players that showed up in great shape for the most part. We'll go into injuries that he mentioned in a little bit, but what and before we get into what Caleb Williams and Grady Jarrett talked about in their press conferences, since Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson's were the shortest, um, I'm just going to ask you, Michael, what were your thoughts on their opening press conferences for uh, the beginning of training camp?
Uh, I didn't really look much into Ryan Poles's. Like, obviously,
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't
he
that
got
long.
asked like three questions. He
Yeah,
was on he was in front of the podium for 3.5 minutes. So there
yeah,
was like two questions asked, and he immediately went to Ben. So
yeah. The one I focused on the most was Ben Johnson's out of everyone's,
hmm
and 70% completion percentage is a little, a little absurd. I'm not gonna lie, because out of all the quarterbacks that played last year, if you had 100 snap minimum, you got the completion percentage thing. Only four quarterbacks did that. You had
okay,
Jared Goff, Ben Johnson's quarterback. You had Baker, and it was two others. But that's a little.
little much.
If yeah, 68's more realistic.
60. You know what, that was going to be my prediction. You know, when you said that was a little too much, I I can agree with you a little bit there, but you know, Caleb Williams did say he wants to get there. So,
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's great for a quarterback to want to get there. It's just you might be asking him little much in his first year in Ben Johnson's system. If you want to ask him next year, absolutely go ahead and do that. But
yeah.
all I'm looking for is uh is 4,000 yards and 30 plus touchdowns because he was very
We
he,
we
he
need
was
4,000 yards bad.
he was close to getting the the 4,000 last year, surprisingly, actually, with 3,500. And if it wasn't for Shane Waldron, there's a possibility that he could have gotten it. Honestly, I think
Yeah,
if it was anyone else as offensive coordinator, I think he could have gotten it. Um, so let's go into the Caleb Williams and Grady Jarrett's press conferences.
wait.
Just a little bit, you
Can
know.
we talk about the how everyone said Ben Johnson wants to build a dynasty and how
Yeah,
big that is
yes, we
for
will
us?
talk about actually. Let me actually add that in here, so uh, just so we can have like a banner for that, because that's a huge topic. Um, I'm as you guys can see, we're using a new platform, so I can actually like put on the screen what topics we're talking about. So I think that is definitely an important one uh, to add in here. Sorry, I should have done that earlier, but I was doing other shows before this. Um, wants to build.
Because I think him him saying he wants to build a dynasty means that
Mhm.
wants this he wants Caleb for as long as he can.
So I'm gonna put this after. I mean, I know we should probably talk about it right now because
We
we're.
could talk about it after the other
Let's
two
talk
press
about it
conferences.
after the press conferences um because that's something that you would want to say before training camp. So and then yeah, we can do that. So so with Grady Jarrett's press conference, um, uh, you know, I took some quotes from his press conference. You know, he's a 10-year vet and is still trying to get better every year. Players are, you know, in grind mode now and all of the feel good reflections are over with. You know, it's time to actually, you know, put in the work and get to work. The key to wrapping up for camp is not to ramp up, but to go balls to the wall every day. You know, Jarrett showed that exact type of grinder mentality that this team needs, and his leadership is is just what this team needs with the young defense. You know, with Turner, Jervon Dexter, Austin Booker, and other guys like that. So I mean, I am really happy to have a guy like this in the locker room because he's going to be the voice of the defense, really, or the teacher of the defense. I think, and I really am. You know, I'm not necessarily expecting him to be what he was like um, when he was in his first couple of years with the Falcons, but I want to see him have, you know, 3, 4, maybe 5 sacks and some a good amount of QB pressures. I'm very excited to see how he is going to help this defense. So I what are your thoughts on his press conference if you watched it?
Uh, I like it. I think it shows that he's trying to be like that veteran figure they need on that defense.
Mm-hmm.
that we thought we were going to get with Keenan. We might have a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully this shows that like he's actually trying to work with like the other our rookie D tackle, our other D tackles, our defensive line. Hopefully he's trying to be like that guy for the defensive line. He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to get the stats because he's a D tackle. You're not going to get Aaron Donald stats. That's
No,
Aaron
no.
Donald. That's different.
Yeah, but Aaron Donald was dominant his whole career, and he played, I only think, for like 8 to
Yeah.
9 years. But he was also on the Rams, and they've always had a ferocious defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and Grady Jarrett, he's coming from a team that wasn't very well known for their defense or their offense with the Falcons. Uh, so I mean, and hopefully, with him, being under Dennis Allen, which we will actually go into next after this. I think that he will. He's not going to be unlocked per se, but he's going to be utilized well. He's going to be utilized well, is what I would say. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then, so next we're going to go into, Dennis Allen, Cole Kmet, and TJ Edwards press conferences. Dennis Allen, he made the defense do up downs after having difficulties at practice. And when he was asked about it, he said, quote, "You have to pay the toll. You have to pay the price. It is a privilege to be on this defense. Training camp is going to be hard." Um, he was also asked about Tremaine Edmonds' playmaking ability, and he said, quote, "I'm anticipating him being an exceptional player for us. He's got size, he's got range, and he's got speed." Um, and someone also asked him about Ben Johnson, or not about Jalen Johnson. Sorry, missing the next few weeks of practice with a leg injury. His response: "I know Jalen's going to do everything he can to get himself back and get himself ready as quickly as possible. He's a consummate professional, so I feel good about him being ready when his body's ready to go. From that standpoint, uh, not a ton of concern there. And I think really for us, our focus has to be the guys that we have here now, and we're gonna work hard on coaching them to get those guys better. And I mean, you you have to face adversity throughout your career in any sport, and it's huge. And but I think he is handling it the right way, with uh, Jalen Johnson. So, what are your thoughts on Dennis Allen's press conference, and then we can go into Cole Kmet and T.J. Edwards afterward.
I think he had the best quote of the press conference was saying it's a privilege to be on this defense. That just
I
shows
completely agree.
that just shows how much he wants our defense to be like how it was, you know, because our defenses have always been good, where they'll stop you, but like he wants to bring them back. He wants to have that fierce in the Bears defense again.
Yes, I mean he want he our defense has always been a very good defense, but with Dennis Allen, he wants the Bears defense to be feared. It's not
Hmm.
it's not about being good. It's about being great. And I love that. I love that. I can't wait to see it. And for the people that are wondering about how the offense is doing in the start of training camp, I'm just gonna give you a little teaser here. The defense is going to have a leg up because Dennis Allen runs the same type of defense that Matt Eberflus ran when he was the head coach last year. Dennis Allen is just far more aggressive, which I am very happy about. So we'll get into that stuff in a little bit after we talk about the next few topics. But let's let's get back to that. So what Cole Komet was when he was talking to the media, he he was asked about the intensity from Ben Johnson pulling the first team after they lined up wrong 2 plays in a row. Quote, I think that's on par for Ben. If you're not doing it right, he's gonna get you out. He's not just gonna let stuff continue. It's just a lesson to us that we gotta be better on the details, and that is huge because Matt Eberflus did not give a crap about defense about details at all, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Or well, actually, then I should probably say Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown. But you know, this coaching staff seems like they actually care how their record is going to be. So I am very excited to see this in the future. Um, so and then he was also asked about his coexistence with Colston Loveland, our new rookie, um, who actually um, is almost full, like he's cleared to practice and almost full go actually. Um, he hasn't like, you know, I don't think he's ran full speed, but there hasn't been pads yet. So
Mhm.
nothing big yet because it's the first 2 days of training camp. The first pad day is actually I think a week from today, the 31st. I think. So that's a good day to look forward to. But he said that some plays we're going to be competing for targets. Some plays we're going to coexist with targets because Ben Johnson runs 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, and I think it's going to be great. And we got to come up with a nickname for Cole and Colston. Uh, we'll have to brainstorm that off camera. But I think we got to come up with a nickname for them. Um,
Yeah.
and then TJ Edwards, you know, was asked about his excitement with uh, Coach Allen, and he's excited in general. I think it's a aggressive scheme. He wants to dictate the terms, and as a linebacker, you have to love that. To go downhill and attack and just kind of shoot your shot and make plays, and I think that's kind of what his schemes in the past have thrived on, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what how we match up and what it looks like. And they're gonna get used to it, and he thinks it's gonna get fun, and um, all of that was quotes that I just said. But what are your thoughts on those couple of press conferences, uh, Michael?
Uh, I like how Ben Johnson is not fooling around, and you could tell the players needed that because we
Yeah,
never had that. We never had that as this organization.
the last time we
But,
had it actually was, well, neither of us were alive. In '85 was probably the
yep.
closest. The last time we actually had a coach who cared in Mike Ditka.
Exactly. So, and then with TJ Edwards, uh, I think what Dennis Allen is trying to do for him, I think he's trying to make him the leader, have him like almost have like a 2018, 2019 Demario Davis type of year where he's just
Sure,
gonna go insane.
I hope I
I
get to
think
see that.
I think that's what Dennis Allen does very good. I think he Dennis Allen's always had a good corner. We have a good corner. He's always had a good linebacker. We could have
Hmm.
two very good linebackers. And he's always had a
Yeah,
good D end. We have
yeah,
Sweat.
yeah,
So
yeah. I think there's, I think with in the right system, I think. the guy that's opposite of Sweat could turn into a good guy, but that's a wait and see part. That's with
Yeah,
Dio Adingbo. We'll see about that. I mean,
that that was a signing where I had no idea who he was.
that was the big question mark for me in
Hmm.
terms of signings. In all fairness, when I saw that Dennis Allen was the leading candidate to be Ben Johnson's DC, I thought he would go straight for Chase Young, and that was who I
Yeah.
actually hoped that they went for. Which, fun fact, so Dio Dingbo signed a 3-year, $48 million contract, and Chase Young signed a 3-year, $51 million contract. When you actually look at it in perspective, that's only $1 million a year extra.
Hmm.
And if Chase Young has a better year than Adingbo, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah,
But that's a
I'd
wait
be
and
very
see.
upset.
That's a wait and see. So we'll see. Next and finally, this is the last. These are the last press conferences that we're going to talk about. I didn't, I saved some pictures on Twitter because I didn't like watch them today because they weren't live streams, so I didn't watch them right away, and I've been so busy. So uh, Kevin Byard and DeAndre Swift talked a little bit today. I have to go to my Twitter to take a little quotes from the press conference. It says, but starting with um, Kevin Byard, he said he breathes competition. You can just tell just the intensity and that type of energy raises the level of everybody on the team. And that's Kevin Byard on the presence and aura of Ben Johnson. I love that they're using the word aura. I think that's huge. And then he also said everyone is getting pushed to compete every single day. The intensity of practices has already been different than last season, which thank God,
Huge.
because last season I don't think we had an intense practice to save our life.
The
Um,
only the only one I saw was the last training camp practice that I went to
mhm,
when there was a big fight. That was it.
yep,
That was the only
that was
intensity.
like that was like the intensity of practice, the fight.
Hmm.
And
That's it.
then yeah, that's crazy. And then with DeAndre Swift, he wasn't happy about with his first year uh, in Chicago. But when you looked at what he had to run behind last year, there wouldn't be much to be excited about. But he is excited for the opportunity and the new year ahead. And he also talked about how he loves the new kid, Kyle Manungai. He's excited to help him out, and it's going to be and we'll get into that actually a little bit at the end of the podcast. I thought that we put a little bit of a fun little topic down there where we talk about um, some some uh, some of our rookies a little bit and how we think they'll contribute. So we'll get into that a little later. But next, Ben Johnson wants to build dynasties, and I'm pretty sure I spelled all that correctly. I'm sorry that I didn't capitalize everything. It's just I added this at the last moment. So, but I mean, he wants to be basically Bill Belichick for the Bears. And
Hmm.
with the intensity and this coaching staff, I believe that it is entirely possible. Now, it might take a middle of the road first year, maybe at 9-8 or 10-7, but that is a big improvement over 5-12. Anything
Oh
is a
yeah.
big improvement over 5-12. So if you can get us to a place where we're, instead of when we get to the draft when we're at, and we're at, pick 8 or 10, if you can get us to 14-16, I will be happy with that for his first year.
Yeah.
And people and players are talking about it. Jaquan Brisker was the first one that mentioned the dynasty. Ben Johnson wanting to build dynasties. He was asked when he was at his high school doing a camp for kids or something, and then I can't remember who else talked about it, but it wasn't just Brisker. It was uh,
Uh, Jalen Johnson said it.
Jalen Johnson said it. Jaquan Brisker
Kate,
said it.
Caleb said
Um,
it. They all
I mean,
said it.
and that just speaks to how committed this whole team is to doing it, and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. And I am so happy that we got Ben Johnson. I'm still actually like referring to him as Ben Johnson instead of Coach Johnson because I still can't get over the fact that we landed him. The
Yeah.
Bears have never been that team that have gotten the biggest guy, and for once they did. So it's still new for me, and I have to get used to calling him Coach Johnson instead of Ben Johnson. But I am excited for this, and we've got this coach for the next 5 years, hopefully much longer than that, and hopefully Caleb is around for that for the next 15 to 20 years, also. So let's get into the start of training camp as well. So, like we said, uh, the defense did have a leg up in in practice so far, but there are no pads on, no one's hitting, and all that stuff. So it's not necessarily, you know, uh, concerning that the offense is struggling per se
It's a
because
brand new playbook.
it's a brand new playbook. The defense isn't learning a new playbook. They're learning a new system, but the system is the same under Dennis Allen. So they're just learning new plays. The offense is still trying to mesh with the offensive line. They're trying to figure that out. They're trying to find the best five, and then they're also they have to make sure that they figure out the best plays to run. So you know Caleb did get picked off in his first play in 11 on 11. But again, that's a huge thing with new playbooks. You don't know what is going to work yet. So when the pads get on, and he struggles for a couple days, I'll start to raise my concern. But when no pads are on, I'm not concerned about him struggling because no one's blocking, no one's running full speed, no one's trying to get tackled. So, nothing huge of concern right now.
Hey, we could be the Colts where both their quarterbacks overthrew 5-yard routes. So
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that clip, and that was ridiculous. I mean, first of all, even though Daniel Jones is not great, he
I'm
is the
terrible.
veteran, so technically, he should be better at that, but he's not. But I,
No,
I don't know about that, man. That's a QB battle that could last until the end of the preseason.
it'll be it'll be settled pretty fast. I think. I think Anthony Richardson is not going to lose his spot.
I hope not because Shane Steichen. I know that this isn't Bears related, but since you brought up the Colts, I'm just going to
Yeah, I
talk
brought
about
it
it.
up.
Shane Steichen was the one that drafted Anthony Richardson, so he's going to be pulling for Anthony Richardson since he is the guy that he chose and is his quarterback, quote unquote. But let's get into the next topic. So the next topic is Jalen Johnson is on the NFL or NFI list with a leg injury. So let's just start with that first, and then we'll go into the second part of it. So when Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles uh, and Caleb Williams and Grady Jarrett had their press conferences, um, they did disclose that Jalen Johnson is dealing with a leg injury and is going to miss the first few weeks of practice. But we mentioned a little bit about that when Dennis Allen was talking or from his press conference. So I'm not too concerned right now. I mean, as long as he's back in, I would say 3 to 4 weeks and has 2 weeks before a preseason game, as long as he's back before then, I think it's going to be fine. And the Jalen Johnson's an All Pro and all that stuff. He's
Yeah.
going to do it correctly, and he's going to be back, and he's gonna play to his stature. So,
As long,
um,
this is my thing. As long as he's still out there and he's not, you know, just getting rehab for it, and he's still out there learning everything, because it's a whole new, like, it's not a new system, but there's new plays.
yeah,
So as
right.
long as he's out there, it's the same thing as him being in there. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's not that big of a deal. And then so Luther Burden is still dealing with his hamstring issue. It's a soft tissue injury, but hamstring issues do linger. So but Ben Johnson met with the media this morning to clear that up a little bit, and he is optimistic. uh, or well, I don't think he used the word optimistic, but he did call him day to day, and is hopeful that Luther Burden will get back in a couple of days. I mean, it's Thursday. I think they have practice tomorrow. I would say maybe if you want to get him back in the next few days, Tuesday or Wednesday. If we could see him by Tuesday or Wednesday, I think he's gonna be fine. And
yeah,
um, I think, and he's still, he's still out there working. He's being taken to the side, by QBs and tossing the ball around. So he's still working. He's just not getting valuable reps, and valuable reps and missed time is unfortunate for a rookie. But Antoine Randall L is on him in meetings and quizzing him and all that stuff. And if there's any wide receiver coach I want coaching our receivers, I mean, you can't do much better than Antoine Randall L. I mean, he's one of the he's won a Super Bowl. He he's a great coach. I mean, there's probably some other ones that would be, great coaches that I can't think of, but I think we got one of the best ones in Randall L for sure. So what
yeah.
are your thoughts on those two topics, or the topic of those things?
So what Ben Johnson said, he said he's also, like, Luther Burden's still doing everything that he can do. He's not
Yes,
getting the full reps, which sucks. You want him to
right.
get the full reps. But then I also think it's kind of like it's fine, because then it gives Rome another opportunity to solidify that wide receiver two and learn that role. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like a healthy medium in a
Right.
way. And then you never know, our fourth string wide receiver, fifth string wide receiver, they can be getting those reps too. So
Right. Hmm.
I mean, as we want Luther Burden out there, but it's okay. As long as they're still doing everything that he can still physically do, it's fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. So next topic is we're gonna go into the left tackle battle a little bit. Um, you know, um, so Ben Johnson in his introductory press conference that was on Tuesday did say that everyone will get a fair share to compete for the left tackle position, and it doesn't matter that Braxton Jones has been the starting left tackle. He's giving everyone a fair shot, and so on Wednesday, Ozzy Trapillo got most of the team left tackle one reps, and today it was Braxton Jones for most of the team period, um, and then Karan Amagaji was thrown in there a little bit. But in my complete honesty, I do believe that even though Braxton Jones has the experience and everything like that, I do believe that with Ben Johnson and this staff drafting Ozzy Trapillo, I do believe that if Ozzy can set himself apart when pads come on, because let's remember this: Ozzy Trapillo is 6'8", so he's huge, and he's I don't remember his weight, but he's
It's
a
like
huge dude,
330 something.
and I mean, if you can set yourself apart, you should. I think he should be the guy that gets the left tackle job to uh, to uh, protect Caleb Williams' blind side. So, Michael, what are your thoughts on that?
You know my opinions on Braxton Jones. I think he's terrible. Don't think he should be there. I think we have the rookie in there. If he struggles, then okay, bring Braxton Jones back in there. But I don't think he's going to struggle. He might struggle a little bit. Obviously, you're a rookie playing left
Mm-hmm.
tackle. But I don't know. I think we do everything in our power not to have Braxton Jones in there, protecting
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams' blind side, because we saw how that worked last year. 70 sacks, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But
And we'll see. It's a wait and see for a lot of these, for whatever position battles are out there. It's a wait and see until we get pads on and everything is full go at full speed. But I do believe me and my favorite and also Michael's favorite is 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 Braxton Jones for or is Ozzy Trapillo. I'm sorry. Um, I just and that's no knock on Karan Amagaji either. It's just Karan Amagaji came from Yale. How successful of a football program does an Ivy League school have besides like if you're Stanford or something like that? Because I know
yeah,
Stanford is pretty successful, but Yale,
yeah. I mean, you had McCaffrey
I didn't
from
even know Yale
Stanford.
had a football program. Honestly, I
Yeah, I
was
didn't either.
So we got a couple more topics to talk about here. So I actually have to look at the script for this because it's um, it's uh, it's rankings for positions. So PFF came out with positional rankings. You know, uh, Williams was ranked QB 24. Moore was ranked wide receiver 20. Loveland was
That's
ranked
ridiculous.
uh, tight end 20, which honestly, I have to say Loveland at tight end 20
That's a little high.
without playing it down is fair is a little high. Komet was ranked tight end 29.
That's
Uh,
also ridiculous.
Jones was ranked offensive tackle 25. Wright was ranked offensive tackle 26. Um, the only one that honestly I completely agree with is the next one. Joe Tooney was ranked offensive guard 2, which makes complete sense. And
Hmm.
I think offensive guard 1 would have been his teammate Trey Smith. So I can't disagree with that. Uh,
No,
Jonah Jackson was ranked offensive guard 31. He didn't play for most of the year, so I mean that might even be high for him. I don't know. Um,
yeah,
Drew Dahlman was ranked offensive center 5, which honestly I think that might be like the perfect spot for him. Um,
that's pretty fair. Yeah,
Sweat was ranked D end 31. Probably could have been a little
what?
higher. Um, Edwards was ranked LB 10, which is probably maybe a little low, but
That's fair.
right
That's
where he
fair.
should be. Johnson was ranked CB4, which I'd probably put him at CB3, so he's right about where he should be. And
I put him at 2.
Byard was ranked safety 18, which honestly I think he should have been a little higher. Just
I think that's pretty fair, but
I wouldn't have put him much higher. I probably would have put him at like safety 16 or something. Just a little higher,
yeah.
right in the middle. And then I did add a little fun topic. I'm gonna we're gonna discuss how many rookies of our 8 draft picks contribute in year 1 real quick, and then we're gonna end this podcast. But I think this is a great podcast for this week. So give me 1 second here. So I thought that this would be a fun topic to talk about. So we had 8 draft picks this past draft, and I personally believe that there are 5 rookies that will contribute right away, and those 5 are Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapillo, Ruben Hypolite, and Kyle Monangai. With Loveland, he's a first-round draft pick, so you would expect him to contribute right away, which I think he's going to in this system. And then, with Burden, once he comes back healthy and is practicing, I do think that he will carve out a good wide receiver 3 role in Ben Johnson's offense. Ozzie Trapillo, we mentioned that he's our left tackle favorite, so I think that he should be the starting left tackle. Ruben Hypolite, I've read a lot of stuff that the coaching staff really likes him and they're impressed by him, so I would not be surprised if he is our linebacker 3 next to Edwards and Edmonds this year. But in all fairness, when we drafted him, I thought that that was a little high for where he was drafted. I thought that he would go after that. I didn't even know that he was on our radar, to be honest with you. And then so I'm at 4. So
the Monangai.
Thank you. So with Monangai, see, the thing about Monangai is he rushed for 3,200 yards and 27 touchdowns as a 7th round draft pick. I genuinely think we have a diamond in the rough here with Monangai. I personally believe that if he came out in any other draft class, he would have been drafted in the 4th round. Because he came into the draft, he declared for the draft in one of the deepest running back classes in the history of draft classes. I think this is the deepest running back class I've ever seen. Yeah. So I personally believe that if it was any other year, last year, next year, I personally believe that he would have been drafted in the 4th round. And to get a guy that probably would be drafted around there in the 7th round, that says something. That is huge. So what are your thoughts on how many rookies do you think will contribute in year 1, Michael, and who do you think they are?
I think you got him spot on. I think all Loveland, perfect. They didn't pick him 10 to not do anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You have Burden. When he comes back, he's going to be a stud. You have Ozzie, both of our favorites, to be starting left tackle. I think he will. Hypolite, didn't really hear about him until we drafted him.
Again, that's the same thing with me. I didn't hear about him until we drafted him. In fact, when Go ahead.
But like in college, you don't really hear about like linebackers and stuff like that unless they're freaks, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like you hear about corners, you hear about safeties. Like everyone knew who Kyle Hamilton was coming out of college. Everyone knew who Sauce was. Like you hear about them. You
Good
hear
point.
about D tackles. You don't really hear about the linebackers. So you never know. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, until his name came up on the board, he was never a guy I was looking at. I didn't even think, I didn't even know that we had him in for a top 30 visit until I watched the Bears like YouTube video of the draft that they had, where it's like the 30 minutes of every draft pick that they had, and they talked about how he was in for a top 30 visit. I didn't know that he was until I actually watched that episode. So
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I should have watched that.
you should watch it. It's
Yeah.
really good. And then uh
Obviously, I think Monunga is gonna be very good. I don't. He's not gonna take Swift's spot like everyone, like all my friends are saying. They're all saying he'll come in and take Swift's spot. That's not
he
gonna happen.
won't. He
But
won't,
it's
but he
gonna be
will
it'll
complement.
be a RB2 role.
Yes. Yes, it will. I agree with you there. Um So I think that's going to be our podcast for today, and we'll see. We'll see you again, Michael, in the
Hold
near
up,
future.
I
And
got one thing.
yep.
Uh, Christian Wilkins
Oh
just
yes, I
got
did see that.
released from the Raiders.
I did see that. That is huge. You know what? Screw it. Let's go into that. That's
Yeah,
a
let's
little
get into that. I want to get
that's,
into that.
that's a little fun side topic to talk about. It's not Bears related, and most likely he will not be signed by the Bears.
No,
But
not at all.
but I mean, the dude. Now, when he was a free agent, I will say I was looking at him. I did want the Bears to look at him, but
Mhm.
when he signed the contract with the Raiders, I would not have given him that much. But that was also when Josh McDaniels was the head coach of the Raiders,
Yeah,
and he had one failed stint before that as the Broncos head coach. Wasn't necessarily the greatest uh, head coaching candidate or head coaching person, but he is a hell of an offensive coordinator, and he is gonna help the Patriots turn around again because he's been there like 5 times it seems like. But
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes.
What
'Cause, I
what
mean,
what
it's
are
gonna
your predictions? Do you got any predictions? Because I think I got two.
it's gonna be a 1 year deal for sure because there's
Yeah,
no one that has the money to sign him anymore. Besides the Patriots, actually, they could technically give him a long-term deal if they wanted to,
they
but
could.
he's had he their concern is with his surgery or something, or his
Yeah,
something
it
related like
was.
that. Now predictions on that for me, that's hard because I don't know where he could go. Uh oh my god. Why don't you tell me your predictions, and I don't think I can think of places that he could go, so I'll just comment on the places you think he might go.
First team I'm very scared of, but I think we'll do it, would be the Lions on a 1 year deal. It's very scary.
That would be very scary.
Second team that would also be very scary for the NFC would be the reigning champions, Philadelphia Eagles.
See, I'm not going to
It's
comment on the Lions because that would be very scary, and I don't want to talk about how scary the Lions are in general. But you just said the Eagles. See, they have one of the
they could,
deepest
yeah.
defensive tackle rooms, and I mean
I mean,
how
why
could you
not bring him
not?
in on a 1-year
How could
deal?
you not pass up the opportunity to have a guy like that in probably the number one D tackle room? I'm gonna say.
Exactly.
I mean, that D tackle room is already number one, but that puts you on like
Whole
a
nother level.
mountaintop above everybody else. I mean, that would that is a the both of them are very good predictions. But if I had to guess which one is more likely between the two, I'm saying the Eagles because they do not give a shit about money.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry for swearing there, but they don't care about money
No.
because they, they their philosophy is they have they came out with a philosophy. It was draft, develop, extend, and they have done a very good job at that. So
Yeah.
I think that is a very good. Those are two very dangerous spots that he could be in. And you know what? I'll throw one in there. One that could possibly happen is the the Buccaneers.
The
I don't know how
Bucks.
like
Yeah.
I don't know how likely it is, but they've always had very good D tackles, and they had Ndamukong Suh, they have
Yep.
Vita Vea now, and so I mean technically Christian Wilkins would be your number two defensive tackle with Vita Vea, so he wouldn't necessarily need to be on the field 100% of the time, but who knows? Maybe that would be my one prediction. That would be the
And then
Buccaneers.
now thinking about it, another team that just happens to get everyone, the Ravens.
That's true. That's
The
true.
Ravens just get everyone.
I mean, he's going to want to go to a team that is built.
Yeah.
So that's my concern. Like he's not even going to want to look at teams like even if the Browns throw him as much money as they can, he's going to say no because
Yeah.
they are going to be. I think they could be one or two in the draft next year, personally. Um, with with the questionable things they've built there,
Yeah,
but
I think the Saints will be one, Browns two, Giants, but yeah.
mhm. Well, I think that's going to be it for us today. And we'll uh, we'll see Michael again soon. But I hope guys enjoyed this podcast, uh, and I'll see you. We'll see you the next time we record something. Have a good one,
Okay.
everyone.